Good morning. This is Kathy for Getting Chatty with Kathy, and I want to thank you for being here with me today. Today, I decided to switch things up. Rather than interviewing somebody from around town, I am going to just chit chat with you guys myself. I know that I have been talking to you guys for a while now, and I have had the pleasure of meeting and interviewing a ton of interesting people. But one of the things that I want to do, and surprise, surprise, Chatty Cathy, I want to just kind of give you guys a sense of what type of person I am, and what I've learned in my 42 years of life experience. So I've tried to record this a couple times now, and it's super awkward for me to just randomly chit chat for half an hour. So instead of doing that, I've now pulled up some questions, and I'm just going to answer them as they come up. And I hope that you guys can get a little more insight into me as we grow together through my talk show, Getting Chatty with Kathy. Alrighty, so here is the first question. It says, if you had a choice between two superpowers, being invisible or flying, which one would you choose? That's a good one. Being in Regina, flying is definitely a key thing to be able to do if you want to go to other places. My only concern is I wouldn't be able to go with anybody and it wouldn't be as fun. But if I was invisible, I would totally be able to jump onto planes, maybe take money so that I could buy people airplane tickets so that we could enjoy it together. So I think I would definitely be invisible, because I want to be able to enjoy some of these things with other people. All right, next question. What was the last gift you gave someone? Ooh, that's so funny that that's the question. All right, so gifting is obviously a thing that I love. Um, when I was starting to think of a new business, I actually picked gifting. So this is so funny. I'm not going to consider my business gifts. This is going to be the last gift I gave to somebody, myself. My family and I have a friend family, and their little one turned 12 just a couple weeks ago. So for that birthday, we usually with that family, we're trying to not buy stuff because we find stuff stacks up in your house, and our kids have too much of it, and her kids do too. So we've decided that we would rather give gifts to do something. So, in honor of that idea, we gave her daughter a gift card to, I'm trying to remember, an escape room. So we're going to have her family and my family go to one, and we'll, spend a couple hours together. I think that that is a really great way to honor somebody, and have a special time in honor of them. So that's the gift that we gave somebody for their birthday. All right. If you could compare yourself with any animal, which would it be and why? I feel like I'm a tiger. I have this like energy inside of me that is hard to control sometimes, and I feel like a tiger when they're like on the hunt, like they're just their head is in the game and they're like ready to do it. But then on the other hand, they have the confidence to chill out when they want to and like just like enjoy, the group. So I feel like that's how I am. I know how to, attack when I need to and like be passionate when I need to, but also be able to chill out and relax. And, I'm working on being confident like a tiger too. So I guess that's the animal that came into my head. So I'm a tiger. All right. Let's see. If your best friend picked a tattoo for you, what would she pick? So this past weekend we were at Agribition. I don't know if any of you guys had a chance to check it out. I had a booth in the Cooperators building. It was a super great week. And there were so many cool things all over the place. I mean, there were local businesses from all over Canada. There was farming equipment from all over the place. We were selling items to people from all over the world. And it was so cool to see all these groups of people all together, all about farming, all about buffalo, all about cows, all about grain. It was just really cool. Um, so while we were at our booth, we couldn't happen, but you go around and check out everybody else's booths. And one of the booths that caught my eye was a booth that did tattoos. I couldn't believe the idea. Like, you're at a trade show wandering around and you sign up for a time and you get a tattoo. These tattoos aren't like super complex tattoos, mind you. They're just little like sketches, what have you. And there's like a bowl with all of these images in it, and then, a little price tag beside it, and you pick what you want. Well, I've been married now, oh my goodness, it's going on, I think, 14 years now, and I don't have a ton of tattoos. I have a few. I got one when I was like 18. I got another when I was 25. When I was around 40, I got one with a really close friend of mine, and I've covered up one that was starting to look dated. So, but some of these are like tiny, tiny. Anywho, watching that booth all week, it just like subtly like percolated into my partner Gus and I to get a tattoo. We've never done one together. So we looked through it and we figured out the most perfect thing. For us, it's kind of silly. And we ended up getting a little heart tattooed on us. But it wasn't just the heart. We put tiny little eyes in it too. And if you looked at it, you would know it kind of looks like that, alien eyes or something like that. So, anywho, we now have this cute tiny little tattoo on us. No bigger than a dime, I'd say, but it's a little memento. And so that is the first. My best friend picked a tattoo for me, and I picked the same one for him. So now we're stuck with these cute little tattoos. And I'm going to go into a sidebar about that. So a lot of my friends will laugh about this, but I am a bit of a sci-fi geek. This is one thing some of you guys might not know about me, but as a kid growing up, we definitely had Star Trek on the TV, and we had Star Wars, and we had anything sci-fi. And growing up with that, it really expands your like imagination of what could be. And I really think now with recent scientific advancements in, scanning and LiDAR and all these neat things, lasers, it just shows you like how huge the universe is, and how like tiny and insignificant the earth is. So it just really resonates with me that there could be so many other things out there. I, as a kid, used to have too many drinks or what have you at a campground fire, and sure enough, I would get into my babble about, do you guys ever think, like, what if there's other life out there? And what if they're doing what we're doing right now? And thinking about us. I can't help but think that in recent times, we're just getting more and more proof of that. I definitely and have been watching the news a lot about how some people in the military have come out with video footage and of all these new probes and orbs and all this stuff. And I am just fascinated by it. Fascinated by it. So I do really think that it'll be interesting to see what happens in our lifetime. Maybe we will be the generation that disclosure happens, and maybe we'll find out that there is a star fleet out there, and we can apply to be on a spaceship and travel the stars. I think that that could be pretty cool. So I am definitely hopeful that that could be us. I even go so far as to watch YouTube shows. So if you guys haven't checked out a show called Y Files, if you're into conspiracy theories or like digging into, stories that haven't hit the media, I really suggest you check it out. It's WHY Files, Files, Y Files, and you can watch, little short 30-minute episodes about a lot of these stories that have been going around and how they debunk them, maybe, or maybe how they show more evidence to prove the point. But in any case, I think that there is more information out there, and as we advance in our technology, some of this is going to be unavoidable. All right, let's look at another question here. So, if you could be a cuisine, what best describes your personality? Oh my gosh. That is a hard question. I'm just going to talk about a cuisine I really like, and I'll try and make it about me. All right, so one of my favorite dishes, cuisines actually, is Korean food. There's a few reasons why I love Korean food. First of all, when you go for supper in Korea, you're not just having dinner, pick your food, eat it, and then move on to the next thing. If you're going out for supper in Korea, this is going to be, the evening event. You're going to sit down and you're going to be eating for hours. Um, the neat thing about it is Korean food, it's all just bite-sized things. So you can eat for a long time because you're only eating a mouthful with lettuce and sprouts and maybe a little piece of meat. Um, the flavors have soya saucy and like sesame seed flavors, and you can't forget about like the gochujang and all those hot flavors. One of the most famous dishes in Korean cuisine is kimchi. It's funny. I used to hate it. I thought it tasted gross. The way you make it is I think it's a certain kind of cabbage, and then they layer fish and pepper seeds, hot pepper, paprika maybe. I'm not really sure. Perhaps there's some vinegar in there. I'm terrible, guys. I'm sure I'm killing like how you make it. But in any case, it ferments in these clay pods, and the longer it ferments, it changes the flavor. Well, it was such a surprise. Little kids eat kimchi right from a little age. They get used to the flavor. But if you're from Western Canada, or not Western, middle of Canada or whatever, you probably didn't grow up eating kimchi. So your first bite of it, it's really foreign. Now, 20 years later, I actually really enjoy it, but it did take me a really long time to enjoy kimchi. But all the other dishes are very, very easy to enjoy. They're not that out there in flavor. It's just like a really fun way to eat. You get to mix all these combinations of side dishes together to make like a bite of like just harmony in your mouth. So let me put this to myself then. If I were Korean food, I would be Korean food because there's so many different pieces of me, but together it all creates something really magical. Ooh, I like how I did that. All right, let's think of another. Where did you go on your last vacation? Hmm. My last vacation, like true vacation on an airplane, was last winter. I went to Playa del Carmen. I flew there meeting a friend of mine who lives in Salmon Arm, and we spent about 10 days hitting up three different places around there. It was very, very fun to get away from the kids, hang out with somebody that I don't get to see often, and just kind of be me instead of mom. We hit up this one island. It's called Isla Mujeres. And for those of you guys that haven't been there, you can fly to Cancun and then you can take a ferry boat over there. It is a small island. It doesn't even have many cars. To get around, you actually can rent golf carts. So my friend and I, we rented an Airbnb there, and for 3 days we zipped around the island like Thelma and Louise. It was a blast, just a blast. And we ate like so much queso and just sat in the sun and soaked it up before we had to come back home to, real life. That is one thing I think that, moms should do more often is I know we don't treat ourselves. And one thing that my hubby and I do is if he gets a trip, I get a trip. And I hope that everybody else out there is doing that too because, finding yourself away from the kids is, something I think that is going to be important, especially as they grow older and don't want to spend time with me. Okay. Um, Next question. What are two things still on your bucket list? That's good. Hmm. I know traveling has always been on my bucket list of things to do. I do think, though, that the older I get, the less I like traveling. So maybe I don't want to put traveling on my bucket list. I think two things on my bucket list could be something around Regina. So let's think about it that way. I have been doing pottery and I have not mastered it whatsoever. So I think on my bucket list, I should put like, I want to make a detailed vase. Like, I mean, it has to be like a foot high or something crazy that I can keep and, make. I think that that could be a really good bucket list item is to really kind of master a craft just for me, not for sale, not for anybody else. So I'm going to put that on there. And then what else do I want to have on my bucket list? I'm going to think about it. I'm not sure. Maybe like go on a trip with my girls somewhere. I just said I don't want to travel though. It's hard. I just want to be really close with my daughters. And I think that when we leave the city and we're as a family unit, we connect really good together. So I think that's why I'm leaning to that. How about I just in my bucket list, I want to spend a week with each of my girls and enjoy each other and just take it in. What are five great icebreaker questions that are funny? Okay, so here's a good one. What old person things do you do? Old person things do you do? I feel like everything that comes out of my mouth lately, my kids tell me I'm old. The slang and like the way that kids talk versus me has changed already. I'm feeling it. So I guess like what old person things I do is just the way I talk. My girls make fun of me. Next question. How long would you last in a zombie apocalypse? Oh, that's amazing. So, on top of my sci fi love, zombies have always been a fascination of mine. I have all the Walking Dead books. Even before it was a TV show, I collected and read them. Um, I think that Saskatchewan's a pretty decent place to be if there was a zombie apocalypse. I think we would here last probably pretty good. We all have a little supply of food, I think, just because in the winter we don't want to run out to the grocery store every day. So I think that could help to our advantage. Some people have generators here. one thing that I definitely should do. Um, People are good at shooting. I just went to the shotgun range with my husband. Not that I was able to hit the target, but I do think that we might be able to fight our way out of it. So I think I would last pretty long. I would give myself, because I would stay bunkered down for a while. Like, that's the key, guys. Don't leave your house. Just lock up those doors and let everybody else take care of each other for like a solid, like, couple months. And then you're good to, like, kind of check things out. I think you'd be surprised. So, yeah, I think I would be one of the few that would, come with me, guys. I'll protect you all. All right. What is your guilty pleasure? Okay, I'm gonna admit it, guys. I have a bad one. I love watching reality TV, The Real Housewives. I find that when I'm at work or when I'm working, I use my brain. I'm thinking of strategies. I'm writing something. I'm trying to articulate something. And I feel like I'm exercising my brain a lot. So when I get home and I'm in my zone and I'm making supper and I'm like kind of doing my thing, the last thing I want to do is think about something on the television. So I really love watching like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, of of everywhere actually. I love Atlanta, I love New York. I love anything where there's a group of women who are totally ridiculous. Their attitudes towards money is like out to lunch. Their fashion sense is ridiculously awesome. And they just all have big personalities and they go out and do way more stuff than I ever do. And I just think it's really fun to watch. I know that I'm not like gaining any skills. In fact, I might be even like sucking my brain cells away, but I don't care. We all need to have a guilty pleasure, and that is 100% mine. It's Real Housewives. And I'd like to say my hubby even likes them a bit. So there you guys go. Before I finish for the day, I do just want to, talk about Regina and where we see it going for our children. This week there was a shakeup at City Hall. Reels was disbanded or whatever you want to call it. And we've seen a lot of change in regards to priorities. There's been a delay of some major projects. And I think people are really looking at the city council, the mayor, and our community and thinking, what are we doing here? What's our priority? Where do we want to be in 10, 20, 30 years? We have so many advantages here. Cost of living is down. We have food all around us. I don't understand how there's people that go hungry. I don't understand how this can happen where we're the bread belt of Saskatchewan, of Canada, maybe even the world. So there's a lot of things that I think need rejigging, and I'm really, really hopeful that systems like our healthcare and our workers start to feel more appreciated. I worked in the education system for over a decade, and every year there was a reduction. Every single year. Yet we have more and more people coming to our province. I don't understand. If they're paying tax dollars, why are we decreasing everything all the time when there's more people here? It just seems so contradicting, like the way economics should work. But on the other hand, it's not like I'm going to take out the accounting books and review them. People get upset about the leadership that we have, yet we're not willing to pay them very well. Did you guys know a city councilor's salary is 74K? It sounds like a lot, sure, but it isn't. I assure you, 74K isn't taking your kids on holidays if you're, a family of four. So they're supposed to sacrifice their salaries and then we complain about the work that they do. I think that we need to reevaluate, firing people and leaving them with severance packages with thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars versus trying to work all together and figuring out a solution. I want my kids to grow up in Saskatchewan and feel like they're in the best province this country has, where the most opportunities are available. And it's right at our fingertips. We just need to be smart about it and organized about it. Start paying down debts, saving for the future, and investing in it as well. I don't plan on going anywhere, and I'm happy to bring anybody onto this radio show that wants to talk about how we can get there. I am passionate about this city, and I want to talk to anybody else who is too. I want to thank you all for listening to my little talk today. I promise next week we'll have some wonderful guests on, and I'm looking forward to get chatty with them. Take care out there. Bye now.